go home, take off this uniform and leave the show. But I'm waiting.
Oh my God. Like, I wish y'all could see in the camera, like the hair is standing up on my skin. This is so powerful. This shift, holy shiza. And it seems like we're making a circle back to that. This end of the world, apocalyptic world war scenario where people were rallied up and exterminated and things of that nature. And waiting for the worms. Holy smokes. This has to be literal. I don't know. It sounds like a villain, and all you have to do, if you want this for yourself, just follow the worms. Just follow the worms. This anger is eating at you. And, yeah, follow the worms. That's wild, actually. If you're watching this right now, this is a clip from a full album reaction to Pink Floyd's The Wall. That reaction was literally like 3 hours and 30 minutes long, so it's only right that I broke up the reaction in segments and released them so for people with less of an attention span and stuff like that, so people can also be led to the full album reaction. So yeah, that's what this is, what you're watching right now, and I just wanted to let that be known so people all say, oh, you already reacted to it. No, this is a clip from the original reaction, and I actually recommend people go watch. If you're really into Pink Floyd, if you're really into dialogue, reactions, commentary, I think it's important to go see the full reaction, the 3 hour and 30-minute reaction, because also, you know, I've been seeing a lot of fake stuff going on YouTube, right? And that's why I don't edit, I don't script, I don't teleprompt, and I just try to do it in its raw form. And I think that version of it tells more of a story. So anyways, this is just a clip from a full album reaction that's almost 3 hours and 30 minutes long. If you want to check it out. If not, continue to check out these clips. I will have the whole The Wall album released in shorter clips, so it's a little more digestible. Anyways, thank you guys for your support. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Adios. Almost felt like another one bites the dust. Total theme and mood shift in the music. There's a shift. So they push the music out in front of the lyrics on this song, and I'm trying to make out the lyrics because the lyrics are really helping me follow the storyline. I'm bringing it back. Let me put this up in the flesh part lineup in profile. Run like hell. There's something going on here, and I'm trying to pick it up. If you guys haven't noticed, I haven't picked up my phone one time through this reaction. Haven't looked up lyrics. I really want to gauge what I hear organically. But this one, like, I was really struggling on making out the lyrics because the music is just so in front of it, which is great. But following along the story, I feel like, is important with a conceptual album like this. So we'll see what we get. Run. They're taking on these characters of a disguise, guilt, all these different things, and they're saying you're gonna fall. It's gonna fall, and you better run. That's what I'm hearing lyrically. I might be missing a little bit again. If you guys go back and listen to this and you never had heard it before, the music is really pushed out in the front in this one. So like the lyrics, and the way he's delivering, it's just hard to make out the lyrics. I don't. So they're back at the show. There's a bunch of things going on. This is the part where the storyline, I'm not sure where. I think I need a little more answers in the next parts to follow. I felt like in the flesh there was a flip of the script a little bit, with this concept of like a lineup on the wall and profiling people. And it was almost like a discriminatory type of thing going on. And then we went to the Run Like Hell, which was almost like running from a conflict. And he talked about tearing you down. And I think I'm wondering if we're getting into a place where, the whole concept of this is a wall being built by negative experiences. And if this is just a master class in potentially, this part, Run Like Hell, made me feel like the wall's either going to be torn down or is being torn down, and as it falls and the rubble falls, you need to run. But it didn't really say that necessarily, so I don't know, I don't know. But I felt the things they were mentioning in the lyrics of Run Like Hell were conflictive, like these conflicts. If you do this, you better do this, and then just that run like hell. Also, running like hell after the flesh. When we think of things of the flesh and we think of the lyrics in that one specifically, maybe trying to get away from that, because that's still the old you pulling you back to this concept of all these negative experiences from the bricks being negative experiences, building this wall. There's something to these that flow together, right? Like you're saying, the show must go on. You're comfortably numb. You're okay with, you're okay with this, that comfortably numb might actually turn into a bad thing. Like, I'm okay with these bad things. And we're seeing a shift here. I'm not totally sure. I'm going to keep vibing. Have had an extreme experience going through this whole storyline, and I think we're getting close to the end, so I'm just going to continue. This is a crazy name, Waiting for the Worms, right? That would typically lead to, like, decomposing, in my opinion, something decomposing. This is so powerful. This shift, holy shiza. I say shiza because I was born in Germany. Yeah, son, on an Air Force base, U.S. Air Force Base. So I'm still a U.S. citizen, but I was born in Germany. And I don't know how to say this on YouTube because YouTube gets kind of crazy. So for lack of certain terms in this music reaction, there's this shift. We've talked about the showers. He's mentioned Jewish folks. He's mentioned colored folks. He mentioned, and the way they're doing this thing, it seems waiting for the worms is waiting for death. You know, we're waiting for the worms, waiting for death. And, you know, there's this theme that showed up. Can I find it in all of these notes of war, the falling bombs and flames. Dang, that was all the way at the beginning of Blue Sky. But then there was a moment where we had this angry voice as well. Where was that? And I was like, what are we doing? Anger in the happiest days. And it seems like we're making a circle back to that. This end of the world, apocalyptic world war scenario where people were rallied up and exterminated and things of that nature. And waiting for the worms. Holy smokes. So essentially, it's feeling like this wall that we've built on one side of the wall created a monster, a potential dictator, an evil person. That's what it seems like here so far. I don't know. This is a curveball in the story because it feels like there's different stories aligning here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to connect them all, but because there's also this character, right, that we're saying is this. But I was leaning into him being like a musician or something, you know. I don't think this has to be literal. I don't know. I'm going to bring this one back a little bit. Waiting for the worms is wild, actually.
My friend, all you have to do is follow words.
The music shifted to this evil, villainous sound, right? Like it sounds like a villain, and all you have to do if you want this for yourself, just follow the worms. Just follow the worms. This anger is eating at you. And follow the worms. That's wild, actually.
Would you like to send our colored cousins home again?
I don't know if they're talking about immigration, our colored cousins home again. Like, this is actually wild stuff now. Like, we've totally gone to a different place with how this whole story is unfolding, but let's just listen.
All you need to do is
Oh my God. Like, I wish y'all could see in the camera, like the hair is standing up on my skin. You know, I think the more I listen to this is about like, I don't know if it's about like, you know, like World War I and World War II, but there's something there that resembles that. and beyond resembles that, like us taking a moment to acknowledge true history of, how, you know, you can't really say his name on YouTube like that, but you know who it is. The dude with the funny mustache tried to exterminate a certain race, which it was horrific, I remember seeing Schindler's List and just being like, bro, this is impossible, like, how did this really happen in our human history? But acknowledging that it did happen is important. I don't know how important this is to the storyline, but this is the reoccurring theme in this moment that my instincts are telling me this is supposed to represent, a part of World War I and II, but it also represents, this human nature of us, eradicating each other and killing each other, etc. But it's very specific in the way they did the chant, in the way they did some of the excessive, like the way the cadence of some of the things being said. That's what it resembles to me. I could be totally off the scent with this. I'm just trying to reach into this with an open mind. I'm literally like my daughter's asleep right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got the monitor. It's like making noise. Like, if she wakes up, I got to bounce, But Lord have mercy. That's what, what I'm sensing is this World War I, World War II examples in this mix. But essentially, the overall story is all these negative experiences. This dude built a wall with this negative experience, and it turned him into this. The reason I got goosebumps is because we went into a stop sign. Stop. So this could be a mental thing, or maybe he started to become this, and maybe there's another awakening. So the awakening was, hey, you. I thought it was come back to your senses, which it could have been. But you might not have listened to that voice. That voice told you the wall was to hide and it's a fantasy, but you still didn't listen to it. And the nobody's home is acknowledging that maybe you didn't listen to it. And there's still pain from the old relationship in Vera. But bring the boys home. That sounded like marching. That sounded like war. And there's these sprinkled ideas of war in here. So I don't know. Let me keep listening, because there's things coming together in real time that are connecting this storyline. I don't know. I have some other ideas too now that I just keep looking at this wall and grew up in Germany. I'm like, hold on, dog. What? But I don't want to jump the gun on anything. So we're bringing it back a little bit, and we about to, whew. This chanting is insinuating everything that I'm saying. And yes, I'm beating around the bush slightly, because they didn't say, there's an interpretation, and it's vague for a reason, but they are implying certain things, right? Also on YouTube, it's just better, to speak in things in certain ways, because YouTube can get weird with certain concepts or conversations that trigger certain flags and stuff like that, and I'd rather not do that. But I think acknowledging history and the tragedies that happened to people in history is important. So, See how it's just so crazy, because the amplification of this anger and this chant and F it, and then just immediately we stop. Oh, wow. This is getting deep. I have to write my thoughts down. Guilty all this, I'm waiting. I
I been guilty all this time? Time, time,
All right, so we're going from stop into the trial. And I think the exponentially important moment is we have this huge buildup. We have this huge buildup from the show must go on. Technically, there's all these buildups actually, because Hey You was crazy. Like Hey You was a wild turning point, but it might not have turned exactly the way I thought. But anyways, you have this build to this character who loses himself. Essentially, if we just summarize this thing, he loses himself to the negative and becomes evil. He becomes evil. This wall that he's built has made him a madman. But he says stop, which is the way they did it and musically is just like a red stop sign. Stop! Screeching halt, music changes, the voice intensity, the emotion in the voice is like, no, what am I doing? Anyways, uniform off, goes back to this military World War I/II theme that I'm getting here, but it also says I want to leave the show. There's nothing that coincides with the military and a show. So now I'm thinking there's parallels here. But anyways, I want to go home. I believe the cell, he's waiting to see, go to court, see if he's guilty or whatever. The trial's about to happen. But the cell is the wall. The cell is the wall now, right? Multiple things going on. This is like one of those trippy movies or shows like Black Mirror where you're like, you think it's going one way, and it is. But there's also other layers going in the same direction, and then they all start to connect. This is just kind of, it threw me off as we got into this section because they started saying things that are very particular, and they were very vague throughout the whole album until they started saying coon and Jewish and da-da-da-da, right? It started getting, colored person and da-da-da-da. I was like, they're giving me breadcrumbs. Like this is, anyways. I don't think I can say the COON word. I don't think you can say that on YouTube for real. Like you can, but you know what I'm saying. All right. We're walking into court. That's what this feels like and sounds like.
Good morning, worm, your honor. The crown will plainly show the prisoner who now stands before you was caught red-handed, showing feelings of an almost human nature. This will not do. Call the schoolmaster. I always said it come to no good, dead me and your honor. If they'd let me on my way, I could have played it to sheep. But our hearts were tied, the bleeding hearts and artists way I'm going. We must have let me hammer him today. Crazy toys in the attic, I'm crazy, truly gone fishing. They must have taken our marbles away.
Yo, this is wild. I got to write this down. This idea of the trial being like, it sounds like a circus, right? But it also sounds like a some type of performative musical, and that all of this is for show. And the moment he started having feelings of remorse, of pain, and acting human again, they're like, that's not going to fly, it kind of makes me feel like some of these movies where I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I totally get it. This whole premise of it's almost like they're painting this picture that he's crazy for actually having feelings, for actually being human and having remorse or having emotions and stuff like that. They're kind of crucifying him for that. That's what it feels like right at this moment. And then the way they're performing it is totally different from anything we've heard on this album so far. Crazy, ha, ho, ha, ho, hey. I'm like, dog. Yeah, we're getting close to the end of the album, you guys. I'm like excited to see where this goes and what else I can unlock from this off first interpretation. Let's keep rolling.
You should have talked to me more often than you did, but no! You had to go your own way. Have you broken any homes up lately? Just 5 minutes, Worm, Your Honor. Him and me alone. Come some other day, let me hold you in my arms. But I never wanted him to get in any trouble. Why'd he ever have to leave me, Worm, Your Honor? Let me take him home. Crazy over the rainbow, I am crazy. Bars in the window. There must have been a door there in the wall when I came in. Over the rainbow, he is crazy. The evidence before the court is incontrovertible. There's no need for the jury to retire. In all my years of judging, I have never heard before of someone more deserving of the full penalty of law. The way you made them suffer your exquisite wife, mother, fills me with the urge to duplicate. Since, my friend, you have revealed your deepest fear, I sentence you to be exposed before your peers. Tear down the wall.
Sometimes you just have to listen. This is a psychological thriller. And the moments that connect, this is like a really unique way to tell a story, a conceptual story. I don't know if I have it down. I just go with my instincts and talk on here. You guys can go crazy in the comments of like, also go back before you saw an interview, before you read any liner notes. Did you listen to this full hour album in its entirety and just have your own, like, what was that? That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear, oh, I, heard Roger Waters say all of this and all of that. I saw this interview. Oh, people said it's about this. What did you interpret when you first heard it on your own? That's my question, because with me, that's what you're getting, right? I didn't hear an interview. I didn't have all these things to guide me through listening to this full album. And I'm truly in awe, especially with the trial and them basically coming up like this is a psychological thriller, and the wall came down. The wall is coming down, and the wall significance of all this negative stuff, that's important here. But they're tying this into, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I grew up in Germany, and I remember this, the Berlin Wall. They're tying this to like the Berlin Wall coming down. That's what it feels like. But I didn't feel like there was really an example of that in the beginning. And there's also examples of other things. But it did show up as early as Goodbye Blue Sky. Now I don't know if, now I have all these questions. Now the interpretation of this changes because, Thin Ice, when it says his father flew over the ocean, you start to wonder, was he flying to war? His father, I don't know. I have no clue. I have no damn clue. But I'm going to try to piece this together the best way I can as we ride off into the sunset. Let's listen to this last track. This last joint is called Outside of the Wall. This is wild, you guys. This is a wild ride for your boy.